everyone. I hope that we are all staying safe. My name is Joseph Karanja, and I'll be talking to us regarding the difference that a father makes in the life of a child and the rites of passage, aka ropes. Did you know that the core issue underlying the real pain in the society today is the lack of present and engaged and active father and a man in a child's life? Oftentimes, when we attend children's school events and other activities to do with our children, the majority of people in attendance are the mothers. The question that begs is, where are the fathers? This is a reality that haunts many young people. One of the biggest problems that children face in our culture is that they have no idea when they reach the goal line and become a man or a woman. I wonder whether that goal line was ever defined for you. When is the day a little boy arrives at manhood and stops striving to prove himself? How does a little girl cross over into the life of being a woman? These are all questions that we must answer if we are to be fathers who help our children to be all they were created to be. What was your father like? Did he have his head down, shaking it in disappointment wherever you couldn't make the big school play or your grades were not so good? Did you even have a father attending the school event? Or was he the one rooting for you no matter what you did? If you are a dad today, which are you? One of the issues that the Building Bridges Initiative Task Force noted as they canvassed the country is that the Kenyan family is in crisis and we are suffering a failure of parentage, leading to a common concern regarding the indiscipline of children. An involved and present father can make all the difference. His love and care can be the deciding factor in helping a young person become who he or she was created to be. God has put such incredible power in us as men to make a difference by calling out this next generation of men and women who will become our future leaders. There are certain things only a father can feel. There are only certain things a dad can bring to bear. A young lady growing up without a father was asked what she wished for most, and she said there are 4 things. These are protection, provision, 3, presence, and 4, praise. Being a father of a girl inspires me to create an environment in which my daughter lives and feels safe, cherished, nourished, fought for, loved. And as a father of boys, this inspires me to be the kind of man who fights for that kind of world. There's a deep desire for all of us to have significance, to have a confirmation. Remember when Jesus came out of the water after being baptized, a voice out of heaven said, "This is my son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased." If the Son of God needed affirmation from a father figure, you and I need the same thing. Our children need it even much more. You may not yet fully grasp the power you have as a father to influence the lives of your children, because maybe this was never modeled in your own life. However, God gives us as men tremendous responsibility to help guide our children into the destiny that He has for them. And since God is a good and loving Father, He has placed inside of us the tools we need to call out our children into their destiny. Every young person growing up has a question in their heart, and the question he or she brings to his or her father, and in the absence of a father, an older man, is, "Dad, Do I have what it takes? Am I strong enough? Am I big enough? Am I fast enough? Am I cool enough? And the father needs to answer the question. If this remains a serious question in the young person's life, they spend their lives performing for an audience of one man who either doesn't get it or doesn't realize that it is his voice that matters. So, who is setting the direction for the lives of your children? Who is telling them who they are? Who is helping them find their way? If they are not, if we are not, someone will be filling our shoes. Is the television telling them how to live their lives, their culture, their friends? One social commentator said that the damage to humanity done by the epidemic of unfathered men and women is worse than the damage to humanity done by one disease combined. And in this regard, and in an attempt to address and enhance the role of a father in a family, PCA Langata Parish has embraced in liaison with other players programs like Man Enough, Boys to Men, and Intentional Dads. The church is also running the Rites of Passage program, aka ROPS. This is a transition program in response to contemporary cultural challenges of urbanization. That is a breakdown of community and traditional value system, youth lacking a sense of identity, responsibility, and belonging. The ROPS program targets children, both girls and boys, in their last year of primary school, equivalent to 8th grade, often of ages 13 to 15. The children are taken through a year's curriculum that addresses relevant spiritual, physical, and psychosocial issues in preparation for the transition from childhood to mid-adolescence. At the end of the year, the candidates attend a transitional adventure camp lasting between 6 to 10 days, during which intimate instructions, reflection, and metamorphosis take place away from the noise and trappings of teenagers' day-to-day life. When the candidates return to base camp, they are received by their parents, fathers for male initiates and mothers for female, with song, dance, and march fanfare, declaring that the last time they saw the candidates, they were children. Who is this man and woman who now comes to greet me? They will ask as they begin to affirm the transition in the candidate. After that, fathers and their sons, as well as mothers and their daughters, are given a chance to have a one-on-one session during which the privileges and responsibilities that the candidates will be granted on their return home after the rites of passage. It's extremely important that the primary ownership of the rites of passage remains with the father. After the mothers have received and spent the night with their daughters, it's crucial that fathers attend the final day of their daughters' camp. A father's hand needs to be visible and facilitative for both boys and girls' rites of passage. At adolescence, both boys and girls need to hear the voice of father as they navigate the first steps of their emerging sexuality. As Lynn Payne has said in her book, Crisis of Masculinity, which I hereby quote, whether or not we accept ourselves as persons is dependent upon affirmation coming to us through the masculine voice. I cannot, as a woman, affirm my son or daughter in his or her gender identity. It is the male voice they are listening for, because as children of my womb, They are separating their identity from me. The bonds with the father before this crucial time of adolescence are of course important. Now, however, they are all important. As the father comes between his sons and mothers where necessary, it enables them to separate their sexual and personal identities from hers. This is also true with the daughter, though not quite so crucial insofar as sexual identity is concerned. Both sexes listen for the masculine voice at puberty. Whether or not we come out of the narcissistic stage and accept ourselves depends upon the affirmation that comes from the masculine. When the father's strong hand of love and affirmation does not rest on his son's or daughter's shoulder, tragedy results, especially in this day of the diminished nuclear family. End of quote. The rites of passage is just one step in the exciting journey we get to take with our children. Other steps involve building structure in our children's lives and helping to order what happens. It's about helping our sons and daughters transition into adulthood. In conclusion, may I challenge ourselves to write down at least 3 things you love about your son or daughter, or the great things you see in them. As a dad, what action would you take to affirm those things in your son or daughter? How might you make a difference today? Make a commitment to yourself and to God that from this day forward, I am going to spend myself loving and affirming my kids, or whatever disconnected boys or girls God brings my way. I am going to be a loving, generating father to my natural kids and to whoever else God brings my way. It's time to connect with our children. I know it's not easy and it needs courage. I therefore recommend that you watch the movie Courageous on YouTube or Netflix. Go for it, fathers and father figures. Thank you for listening, and God bless.